I just got home from an art workshop in Florida, and I wanted to share with you the travel kit I took to do after the class was over. So the evenings were ours to just explore the town, and I love that. So this is what I took in my suitcase as my travel case. It's simple: a sketchbook, some paper towels, and a pencil case full of supplies. I didn't want to be bogged down with having to think of what I was doing or what I needed to do or what medium or this or that. So you're going to see how simple I packed here. So this little black band here, these are headbands that I get at the dollar store. You can get 3 of them for $1, and they're great because they're thin, they really stretch, they last a really long time. Like, this has been on my travel journal forever. And when I'm done, I have it sitting on my sketchbook like that, just to hold the pages tight. And this is how I store it on my shelf, with the band on it, so that it doesn't work its way open like this. It's just a tighter thing. But you can find these in multiple colors, so pick what you like. I always just like a black one. This is a Stillman and Byrne Beta Series book. It has mixed media paper in it that's kind of heavy. Listen. And I like that because it doesn't warp, it doesn't transform. It lays flat when it's open, and it doesn't puddle up. And I really am looking for something fast and easy when I'm painting in the room. No messes. So I will get to sharing the tour with this. I believe it's 5.5 by 8.5, but it is the Beta series. I always travel with a pack of my favorite little towels. I think I took 4 or 5 of them. This is Bounty. I love Bounty. I used Bounty in my acrylics, and I use it again in my watercolor. I like to know what a paper towel will do for me as far as taking off water. So if you're struggling with water, what I would suggest is be consistent in whatever you're using to take the water off, whether it's a sponge, a paper towel, a piece of cloth. Just make sure that you use the same kind over and over and over. It will help you learn how much water your brushes hold, but also for how much your cloth takes off. Just know that. So a little stack of that, and I like them because they're disposable. I can throw them away when I'm finished. And then I've got a old Mary Englebright pencil case. I just love this thing because it's longer than most. It's 9 inches by 4 inches, and you can see it holds quite a bit in there. So I have a little watercolor set with 12 watercolors. And these were my supplies. I know, like I said, I'd like to be a minimalist. I have 2 of these Graphigear pencils. These are my favorite because they're nice and weighty. I like a pencil that is heavier. Like, I used to draw with these kind of pencils, but I just found them not as nice in my hand, and that is a personal thing. But here I have a 0.9 lead and a 0.3. I like to sketch in the 0.3 because it's lighter to erase, but then do all my graphite lines in the 9. I also have an eraser. I usually take this eraser, which is my Pentel Click Eraser, and I love this because of you really never run out. I think this came in a 3 or 4 pack, and it's been in my bag forever. If you are working on smaller stuff, I would highly recommend this Tombow Mono Zero eraser. Do you see how small that is? I just love this. Here's a regular pencil lead, and here's the Tombow eraser, so you can see how tiny. So if you are looking for a small eraser, I highly suggest this Mono Zero. And usually when you buy one, it comes with refills. So I always make sure to buy the pen itself, but I always buy refills with it so that I can keep them in the same place. This one I did not take on my trip with me, but I wanted to share that with you just in case you were looking for something for details. And then my favorite brushes, my friend Robin introduced me to these. These are the Aqua Wash or something like that, and I will share that in the description box. But what I really like about these is they are brown bristle brushes. Say that fast. But they have a beautiful point. They're they're water brushes, so you fill the container here and then they're just ready to go with you. What I like about the brown bristle versus the white bristle is the brown is a little softer and it has a little more snap to it. Like the white bristles are kind of hard, so I like these better, especially because I usually use Princeton brushes. So when I'm away, I just find these little aqua brushes great. And I like them because they come with a tip that protects my bristles and I don't have to worry about it. So you can see really hardly anything there. Lots of room in the bag. And then I've got my 12 colors here. Depending on where I'm going, I will alter my palette. You see that mine's pretty bright here. It's pretty much got every color. I've got yellows, a buff titanium, an orange, a red, a pink. I've got 2 greens, an indigo, a lavender, and then a light brown and a dark brown. I wanted something that was overall because I wasn't sure what I was going to see. I knew that there was a harbor on one side of where I was going and a beach on another, but I also knew it was a quaint little town with a lot of antique stores and things like that. So I just kind of made a well-rounded palette for myself. And this is the beauty of half pans, right? Is that you can just easily take them in and out. So I don't need a Naples yellow, just pull it out and replace it with something else. This is why I really like a little half pan setup like this. And I didn't take a big setup because I knew I would be working in the room. Knowing that, I might have to work on my lap, I might have to work on the bed in the hotel room. I wanted something that had the mixing trays already attached, easily cleanable, but yet very small footprint. So you can see between my book here, if I had my book open, I could easily just set this right next to it and it doesn't take up much, right? It's about 3 hands. And I like that a lot. It just makes doing art in your room a lot easier because you never know what the hotel rooms are set up like. Sometimes they have desks, sometimes they don't. Let me show you what I did while I was there. So this sketchbook is about halfway full now. So I've got that's full and that isn't full. And I call it my travel sketchbook. It's my travel sketchbook number 2. And it was started on April 2022. And I don't have much in here, but you'll see them as we go. And I want to talk a little bit about the changes that I'm seeing in the way that I paint. You'll see it as we go. You'll see it as we go. Whenever I go somewhere, I like to save my boarding pass. I like to just do a little bit of type up here. And all I do for this is I found a typeface that I liked in Word and I just printed it out and then I just transferred it. I have some stickers. I have like a little watercolor sketchbook sticker set. And then I have a variety of girl stickers as well. And all I did was combine them into this little pack. And then this I tape in the back of my book so that it's always with me. It doesn't take up any more room. You can see it just disappears. But I like having the ones that I'm using in this sketchbook with me. It just makes my life easier. And then I just glue down my boarding pass. So this was from April 2022. And what I did here, I stayed at my friend Robin's house and she had beautiful orchids. Oh my gosh, they were so beautiful. But I was intrigued by the shape of them. So I was more concerned with drawing them than I was painting them. And then here was some hellebore flowers from her front yard. This was part of the orchids. And then we went antiquing and I found a couple different things to kind of showcase. I bought a little duck. She had this cute little rabbit holding a carrot in her table. She had a big tin of color pencils, which I found super charming, and some jelly beans because it was around Easter that I went there. Here we went to several antique stores. And I was intrigued by this giant easel with all of these brushes on top of one another. So what I did was take pictures of these while I was out and about and then came back to the house and we sat and sketched afterwards. And I love just bringing the details in with my graphite. You can see all the lovely details. I was really intrigued by the stack of brushes, how they did that. There was a little tag hanging from it. But I really liked this. And then there was a little case of Tootsie Toys which I fell in love with. They're just super tiny trucks that are only like this big. If you have any you want to sell, please contact me. I would buy them all. They are so adorable. And then this here, I made a little clipboard, and these were all the places that I visited while I was there with her. And this was supposed to happen in 2022. We'd go to Lancaster, Pennsylvania with a couple friends of mine, and I ended up having 2 teeth pulled. So this is a little Hummel figure of toothache, and then I've got 2 little molars hanging here. That's as far as I got. But it was sad that I had to cancel, but I wanted to remember why I canceled. And then I went to Florida in April 2023. Again, the girl sticker, the little sticker of the watercolor journal, my boarding pass, and then Florida. When I am there, I usually paint the letters depending on what impacts me the most. You can see New Jersey here. We were going to the Jersey Shore. So it was the sky, the water, and then the shore. That's kind of how I did that. In Florida, there were the most beautiful sunsets I had ever seen. They were so intense and bright, and I just really loved the colors of them. So that's how I chose Florida here. Now in this book, I started doing little squares, if you notice, that were like little pieces that I could take with me or remember. Instead of doing a big like storefront or something urban, for me it is about the smaller details. I really like to see things up close and personal. So we went to a couple antique stores, and I brought my purchases home, and that's what I sketched. So this was just a little rock. These were a couple tin items. I bought a new purse there. This was while I was there. I saw SpaceX twice, rocket launches, and I had never seen one, so that was really beautiful. We went to Anthropology, so I just put a piece of their tape down, and then these were a couple leaves I gathered. Of course I gathered leaves everywhere that I go, but I just really liked having them to sketch whenever we were home and we were just painting in the studio. And for me, that is like, we get to talk about the day, about what we found, what we liked, what was exciting, right? And so it really it impacts the way that you're drawing and painting and your memories. Like, I can tell you everywhere that we went this day because of what's on these pages. And you can see I'm taking my time. I'm not rushing through anything. If I take this outside and done it in plain air, I would be rushing to hurry up to move to the next place. And this was a giant leaf. Look at, isn't that beautiful? It's called a sea grape leaf. And I just love the texture of this. Here's that same little tugboat that I put on a piece of driftwood, but I love the streakiness of the driftwood. And then these were things that we saw while we were eating. We went to a place called Boondocks, and I had shrimp there, of course. And there was pelicans. You can see that pelicans don't feed them, but they had all these cool shells and rocks. And there was a life ring, and I stuck the little tugboat on there just because I thought it would look cute on there. So that's our whole evening, and captured in little squares instead of trying to do a whole plate of food or taking up time. It was just little snippets. And of course, another modeled leaf that I loved. I bought a sticker when we were at the Museum of Arts and Sciences. We had taken a lecture there. And then I found some interesting leaves from her yard, and I just brought them in and then did them in different colors. And then this is where my workshop was held, at Fernandina Beach on Amelia Island. And what was there was bright blue skies. I mean, it was the brightest skies. So I just did skies, and then they had crushed white shells instead of like stone in a lot of their flower beds and stuff like that. So that's why I have the little white here to remind me of the seashells. Again, the girl sticker and the watercolor sticker, my boarding pass. And then these were things that I captured along the way. So this was in the airport. I ate breakfast at the White Sox Bar and Grill. And then I fly out of Chicago Midway, and they have the Battle of Midway there. And this was the plane with the propellers and aircraft from the battle, which I really liked. We met up at the Salty Pelican that first night as a group, and I just really, really loved the logo. So the logo is this, but then they had a like bronze pelican standing outside their restaurant, and on the boardwalk they had these pelican feet in blue, white, and purple, but I really liked the blue, so I just kind of mimicked them walking through. There was a trellis there that had a plant. It wasn't flowering at this time, but the leaves were the most amazing colors. Yes, those were all the colors in a clump of leaves. Can you believe that? It was just gorgeous. And look at that cute logo. And then, of course, I picked up some more leaves on the way home, and I had to do those. We ate at Brett's Waterway Cafe. On the way out, I found a $100 bill, which was pretty exciting. And our hotel gave us fresh baked cookies every night. These pink leaves totally intrigued me by their colors. They were just so beautiful, but they were also hard, almost like leather. And I don't know if that's due to the Florida air, the sun, or what, but they were so stiff, but I had to bring home a whole handful to try. These were little salt cellars that I bought at the Trailer Park Collectible Antique Stores. They're super small. I have one right in front of me. This is what they look like. Aren't they charming? But I envision them having paint inside of them. This was another antique that I bought. I just really liked it because it was small and it had a little kind of poinsettia shaped flower on there. And I like the bright contrast of the red to the day. And then the next day we ate at 4th Street Deli. We ate there twice. Their ham sandwiches were so good. This is my idea of a ham sandwich. They were that fat. I mean, they were just delicious. And I found a trio of leaves. Yes, I brought them home with me. We ate at the Amelia Island Brewing Company, and on the way home from there, I found an old zipper. I'm always looking for rusty metal whenever I'm out. If I can find something like that, I will bring it home and just use it as part of my random pieces. I bought a dish with this image on it. And so I wanted to capture it in my book, and that's how I captured it. And then this is a conch shell teacup and saucer that I haven't painted yet, but look how beautiful it is. I actually bought this. So that's the saucer. This is the teacup. Isn't that amazing, you guys? Look at the texture on that. I hope I'll be able to do that. But look how cute it is set together. I just love that. I love that that kind of looks like an eye. So that is that piece there. And that's the end of my journal. But you can see how I spent the day and the evenings. We just reminisced about what we found and what we discovered and how different areas are, right? That's what I really love about going into a smaller journal like this, is you get to see things that you normally don't see. I'm from Indiana, about an hour from Chicago. Right now it's springtime. Our spring lilacs are blooming, our crab apples are blooming, but there, in their season, their spring is over. It's starting to get hot, so their flowers are changing and the leaves are already dried. So I just find that really interesting when I'm traveling, the differences. But I also hope you saw that I started with really simple things, and I've worked my way up. That was 2022, right? Each year I got a little bolder and a little bolder. And this year I was having so much fun inside of this sketchbook. And I know it's because I'm doing a practice, and you see I'm getting more secure, more deeper, more richer in my colors than when I first started. And that all comes with doing and practicing. So if you're wanting to start sketching, I highly recommend you get a little notebook and you put together a little art kit, because at any moment that is ready to go, right? If you grab this and always have something ready, have it by the door, have it in a travel bag, Have it in a tote bag so that when you are leaving, you can just grab it, because you never know. You might stop and have lunch at a park. You might just sit and find a beautiful fountain in the area. You might see a clump of flowers that you just have to pull over and sketch from the car. You never know. Trust me on this. So I hope this little package of art supplies has inspired you to put one together for your own self, because I can tell you that the memories you create once you paint them is totally different. It makes you remember. I can tell you the smell. I can tell you the breeze. I can tell you what was going on. I can tell you the atmosphere, if there was music playing, if there were people talking. All of that comes through these sketches because you're in the moment when you're doing them or taking their photo and then doing them later. But it's all of that travel experience that makes the memory so much more than just taking a picture and never doing anything with it, right? So this I actually get to flip through day after day after day if I want. And I can revisit it once a year, and it just takes me right back there. You saw with the 2022 and 2023, I was reliving it as I showed you. I hope this video inspired you to create a little art on the go bag for yourself. And if it did, please like, comment, or subscribe. Thanks so much for watching.